Not everyone in Canada is under 6 feet of snow for 10 months of the year, and out here on the west coast this winter's been a mild one indeed. Yeah, we've had some bizarre snow dumps over the last few weeks, but as per normal the snow's washed away as quickly as it comes. I left half a bed of potatoes in the ground last year, not intentionally, I just didn't get around to digging them up. For now though, I'm taking the potatoes as we need them, but I'm going to have to go through this bed over the next few weeks to empty it entirely, or the best I can, as I'm going to be using it to grow potatoes in again this year. Nothing in the garden is either ahead or behind where it normally is. The hellebores are flowering bang on cue, the bleeding hearts are pushing through the ground, as are the peonies. This time last year they were under snow, but they were there just the same. They just know when to grow, and I'm becoming a believer that day length and light levels are equally as important as temperature in the growth cycle of a plant. I did an experiment last year with long day onions, and I found that even though onions will survive very well in cold conditions, the ones that were subjected to increased light levels earlier on in their growth cycle easily outperformed the ones that were left to grow under the natural light of winter. Now this then means that more light in the case of onions is a good thing, and it's a good argument that onions is one of those seeds that can be sown early. Sometimes you've just got to know your own climate. The temperature's here right now, there's no reason why we can't be growing radishes in the greenhouse in these containers. It's about 10 degrees, gets down to about 0 at night, but that's not going to harm the radishes. I'm not starting these too early. These are ready to go in. I've got some spinach over here. Now I've sown this in October or November, and I tell the honest truth, I completely forgot about it. It's been in here all winter, but seems to be doing all right to me. And over here we have some salad that I've got going. I've got some lettuce, some arugula or rocket, and a mesclun mix. Now I've got cloches over them, and they are being grown on a heat mat, but there is no artificial light on here, so they're getting about 10 and a half hours of natural light per day, and they seem to be doing all right. Now again, I don't think this is a case of me getting these things going too early. I'm just taking advantage of the situation at hand. Yeah, we'll go with that. This is something that I did get going early. In fact, very early. I think it was last March that I sown these. These are columbines or aguilillas, and I meant to have planted these out in the autumn, but I forgot to do it. They've been sat in these pots all over winter at the side of the greenhouse here, but they're going to be all right. I believe that they will flower this year, and in a couple of months' time, yeah, these are going to put on quite the show. One of the things that's helping to curb my enthusiasm right now for starting too many things too early is the growing of microgreens. And if there's one thing that does not need a lot of light in order to grow, it is microgreens. Now I know that behind me I have this well lit up shelf, but trust me, when it comes to microgreens, it's superfluous. It's more than required. Microgreens really do not need a lot of light. For the most part, when we grow microgreens, we grow them in the dark, in a stack with a weight on top, so light is not required, and it's only when the plants start pushing through that we need to bring them out into the light in order for them to green up. Now if you have a windowsill, or even a cold greenhouse should do with a lot of the microgreens, that will be enough for the plants to green up, and within a few days they'll be ready to eat. They really do not require a lot of light. I started half a dozen tomato seedlings a couple of weeks ago, and the reason I got them going was because I saw somebody else doing it. Monkey see, monkey do. And I shouldn't really have done it because I got myself into a fight that I don't need to be in. They're already leggy. Now is not the time for tomatoes. There's plenty of time for these later in the year. Peppers, on the other hand, are one of the things that I don't mind sowing early. I find that they grow well under the lights and they do require a long growing season. Recently I've been able to increase the size of my indoor growing area and grow lights set up, and even though I'm fortunate to have a lot of indoor growing space, half of the shelves are still empty, and they can stay that way for a little while yet. It is still way too early, and I would be unwise to fill these shelves at this point in time. Unless you can provide the right temperature and the right amount of light for your plants, I would suggest that you keep your hands in your pockets for a little while longer yet. You don't want to be going into late May, early June with long leggy plants. It's going to be too late to re-sow and you will regret it. Right now, I think it's time for a beer. I'm thinking that the next video is probably going to be about microgreens because that's what I'm doing right now. It's still too early to sow a lot of the stuff. And so, until next time, cheers.